Welcome to Valorant, my friends. So we are here. This is the start monitor that you see when you log into the game. You have your friends list here on the side. You have the play now button. Again, I just want to let you know that this is a beta bootcamp, so this is not official. There can be changes. There can be changes made to the market, to the skins, to the battle passes, or whatever. Everything that you can see here does not mean it will look exactly like this when the game is gonna come out. Please, please, please keep that in mind, okay? So, I will show you right now a few of the characters. So we're gonna go into a custom game where we can shoot some bots, where I can show you the different characters. And yeah, let's dive right into it. So, those are the champions that they gave us in the beta. I think those are gonna be the champions. They're gonna be released once the game is gonna go live. So we're gonna just fast go through all of them. I don't want to make like a 2-hour long video. So first one is Brimstone. If you're wondering, yes, I already have some skins. No idea if I'm gonna be able to keep them or not. I just got them through the beta. I also already changed my keybinds. You're gonna be able to change, as you see on the bottom, all of my abilities. I changed the first one, the MB5, is mouse button 5. This is usually, I think it's on C. Then we have a Q, an E, and an X. The E is always an ability that recharges by itself, either over time or through kills. And you get it full every single round, every single time a round starts new. So your E does not cost you anything. You see in your Q, or in my case, the fifth mouse button and the Q, always costs money if you want to buy it. You can see it here. And the ultimate, you cannot buy the ultimate. You get charges through the for the ultimate whenever you either kill an enemy, or a round ends, or you pick up one of those orbs that you maybe have seen in some of the gameplay already. So, we're gonna go into the first character, which is a controller called Brimstone. Let me show you his abilities. So, the first ability that Brimstone has is the Stim Beacon, which is basically an AoE area that gives you a higher fire rate, and even if you run out of it, you keep it, I think, for like 4 more seconds or something like that. What you need to be careful with if you use this, if your teammates stand in it, everybody gets it, but also your enemies. So if your enemy runs into this, they will get buffed as well. I think it's pretty cool that you can throw it, run into it, get the buff, and then run out of it and have it for 4 more seconds. That, for example, would be really good. Let's say if you want to rush a site or something like that, and you don't want your enemies to have it, you just put it here in front of the site that you want to push, so you're sure that your enemies are not gonna get it, and you're gonna be able to use that buff for a longer time. The next ability that we have is a Q. It is an incendiary. It takes a little while to pull out, as you can see. So it has a little load time. And then you just shoot a Molotov there. It obviously forces people out of their corners, and you also take damage. Also your friends take damage from it. So be careful with this. And then the probably best ability that he has are his smokes. Basically, as you can see, he has 3 charges, and he can place smokes in this area. So you can see the circle. He has a pretty big reach where he can put them. So basically, you just click the area that you want to have smoked off, and then you put them down. Oh, there's a roof. Yikes. So, we learned something. Smokes do not come through roofs. And I'm not quite sure about the duration of how long they are there. and the smokes, inside of the smoke, you're really, really nearsighted. And the animations of the smokes are really, really clean. So there's no such thing as in CS of pulling a Loba where you just stand inside of the smoke and you're gonna have vision from the people that are outside of the smokes before they can see you and stuff like that. So this works really, really well. And then his ultimate is basically just missiles from the air. The same again, like you have a little bit of a bigger reach here than you have with the smokes. You just select the area and drop it down. Now everybody is gonna be like, oh my god, this is so overpowered, everybody can die in here. No, you can actually run out. You have enough time to escape this ability. So let's say I drop this straight on myself. I'm gonna be able to run out of it. Like there's an animation over me, you saw that, right? So I have more than enough time to get out of it in time. Let's say, I don't know, I'm defusing a bomb or something like that. I need to get off the bomb and then run out. I'm gonna get more damage. And if you're stuck in it, then you're gonna die. Then we're gonna talk about the next champion, which is the duelist called Jet. You probably saw her in a lot of videos already. She has also, like every champion, 4 different abilities. The first one is the C, or as I said, I have it bound on my mouse button. Those are some smokes that she can throw. Her smokes are way shorter in the duration compared than the ones from Brimstone. Then we have her Q, which is basically a jump. You're gonna have 2 charges of this per round if you choose to purchase them. And then you have your E, which is your passive, or the ability that recharges every round. And you have 1 charge of this per round automatically. And then you can see above the E there are 2 little circles with X's through it. So that means if you get 2 kills, you get another charge of your E. Obviously you can combine those. You can either dash first and then jump, or you can jump and then dash. And then the ultimate that probably everybody already saw are her knives. She can hold her knives as long as she wants until all of the knives are used. The knives are either shot as one, or you can send all at once. That is your choice. With the knives, a one-shot headshot is a kill. And if you kill somebody with a headshot, your knives are gonna fully refresh again. Okay, so I just want to say that I'm really bad at Jet. Okay, so I would love to show you like some sick freaking gameplay where I double jump, dash, and throw somebody a knife in the head. But basically, I'm bad at this, so I'm not gonna be able to show you that. But, so basically, all you need to know about the ultimate as well, while you're in the air and you use it, your knives are still 100% accurate. So this is the only weapon really that is accurate while moving, are your knives. So keep that in mind. And that was it already about Jet. So let's move to the next character, Omen. Omen is, I have to say, really one of my favorite characters. I thought in the beginning that I might not like him. And I also want to say that he really reminds me of Shroud. And he also has Shroud named abilities, which I don't know what they want to tell us with that. So let's look at the C, or for me, again, I have it on my 5th mouse button. It is basically a short range teleport that you need to channel. It's basically comparable to, let's say, a Vipre, for example, in Overwatch. Then let's talk about the Q. The Q is probably easier if I show it to you here. The Q can pass through walls, and if it hits you, you're gonna be nearsighted for a certain duration, so it's kind of like a flash, but it's not flashing you, but you're still only gonna see what's really close to you. So it's basically, you can basically use it like flashes, but they go through walls and you need to hit the person with it. So basically nothing like a flash. Then we have the E. The E is basically also a smoke, but the smokes of Omen are a little bit different than from other characters. The smokes of Omen, he can place them however near or far he wants. Once you select it, the smoke is gonna settle down. Then let's talk about the smokes that Omen has. Basically, this is the way you can place them further or closer away. You can either send them straight like this, so they drop more or less instantly. They're hollow in the inside, so you can technically have gunfights on the inside. If you want, they're also bigger than other smokes. And the other thing that you can do is if you aim a little bit higher, for example, you can send them up and let them slowly drop down. Yeah, so you can play around with this as you want. And then we have, as the last ability, his ultimate. His ultimate is basically the ability to teleport anywhere he wants on the map. The only thing, first of all, the enemies can hear it if it's near to them or if it's close to them. And also there's obviously some time that this channels. And in this time, you are channeling and reforming. The people can shoot it, and if they shoot it before you reform, you're just gonna get teleported back to where you started it and you're gonna lose your ultimate. Or they wait till you formed and then they kill you and then you're dead. So it's nothing like super overpowered, because again, all the ultimates are gonna be announced by voice lines, so they know that it's gonna happen. And if they teleport close to you, they're gonna be able to hear that very well. Let's go to the next one. The next character is Phoenix. I think Phoenix is probably one of the characters that's gonna be played the most. Why am I up here? Let's go to abilities. So the first ability, the C or the mouse 5 button for me, is basically a wall that he can put up, and he is healing inside of the fire because obviously he's Phoenix. Again, if you maybe saw already, like you can bend the wall as you want, depending on how fast your senses. You can also just make it straight, however you like it. Then the Q is his flash. Those flashes are only close range, so you cannot just throw it out in a room, because if you do this, you're gonna be blind. So you basically press Q and then you can decide if you want to throw it to the right or if you want to throw it to the left. And I flash myself. So basically you choose either with right or left click if you want to throw it to the right or if you want to throw it to the left. Again, a close range flash. And then his E is a Molotov. It does damage to his teammates and it is healing him. What else? Oh yeah, and another thing that is really worth noticing is when you, for example, put this wall up, you can, for example, put a flash through it, and this wall is basically give you the line of sight, so you can make sick combos with this, with just throwing flashes through it without getting blind. Let me show you this again. So basically you just put up the wall and you know that your enemy is behind it. You can just right click flash through it and go and kill that person. So there are really nice combos with those ones. And then the last thing is his ultimate, which is basically him preferably hiding in the safe spot, pressing his ultimate, and then he has, I think, 8 seconds to run it back, so you can just run into a bomb site, try to open it up, kill some people. In case you die, you just get teleported back here. If the time runs out, you get teleported back here as well. I saw something really crazy in one of my games. Somebody used the ultimate, like he had the spike, so the bomb that you can plant in this game, and he would just hide,
Come on, let's go.
use his run it back, run on the bomb site, and plant the bomb. And that works. And if he dies, apparently he does not lose the spike. The spike will be with him again when he respawns. So I have seen some 200 IQ players already. So let's go on further. Now we're coming to my favorite character. Yes, I can hear you all screaming, oh my god, of course she's gonna main the support, blah blah blah. The healer, Sage. I freaking love her. She's a sentinel. I think she is gonna be the same as Brimstone and essential to every single team because she is healing. She gives you map control. She can help you to create space or take space away from the enemies. That is why I like her a lot. You can take so much map control with this character. It's amazing. So let's look at my favorite character, which is Sage. So the first, her C, or for me again my mouse button, is an ice wall. This ice wall can be shot to break. It has quite a lot of HP, as you can see. You can also damage it with your knife, for example. Gonna take a long time. And yeah, so basically what this is for, obviously you can block off the ways for your enemies to go in afterplant situations to defend. For example, you can hold a bomb site alone by just removing one way for them to enter without you knowing. Of course, there can be a jet that can, like, for example, jump over if it's not in the doorway or something like that. And as you can see, the older the wall gets, the less HP it has, so you can see it starts cracking, and after some time it's gonna disappear. It has a pretty long duration though, and obviously now it's gonna be one shot to shoot it, but it will also disappear by itself after some time. So again, a lot of map control, great for after plants. And you're gonna have to buy one charge of it, and you can obviously do a lot of crazy things with it. Different combinations. When you press the mouse 1, you have it normal. If you press it again, it rotates. And then you can also freely move it with your mouse. And another thing that's pretty cool, what they made is, let's say you know exactly that you're gonna want to wall this one off, right? And if I wanted to do this now, you know, I would have to position it and then go. You can, for example, already pre-position this wall however you want it. Take out your gun again, and then press it again, and it's gonna be already in a good position. So you can already like make some 200 IQ positionings for your wall if you know where you're gonna place it later on. Also, obviously, you can self-boost with this one. You can use this, obviously, to outplay your enemies. You can also use this, for example, to get up to positions that you would usually not be able to be at when, for example, the wall disappears and they're not gonna, and let's say you're a Sage and you're usually not really a character that can jump around on positions like that. You can outplay your enemies like this. Again, I think you notice I really like Sage, and I'm talking for a really long time. So let's go further to her Q. Her Q is an AoE that spreads in a smart way. So you can either throw it in an open space and it's gonna bloom, or you can throw it in a corner and it's gonna spread in an intelligent way. This AoE slows. It slows you, it slows your allies, and it slows your enemies, obviously, which is the main thing that you want. And you can hear when people are stepping on the ice. It doesn't do damage, but it slows them and it gives away their position, right? One thing that I have to say about the Q though, you can try to dodge it a little bit through trying to b-hop through it. It's not gonna fully make you skip it, but if you have good movement, you can at least, let's say, go over 2/3 of it and maybe surprise an enemy by not thinking that you're gonna be that close already. Then her third ability is the E, which is basically a heal. If I would now right click, I would heal myself, and if I would left click, I would send it to an ally and heal my ally with it. And then we have the ultimate, which is a resurrect, which I cannot show you sadly, but because I don't have a second player here to demonstrate it on. But basically, you will need the dead body of the person. You press X on it, click on him once, it's gonna channel him and make him resurrect. And in the meanwhile, I don't know, it's like 2 or 3 seconds probably that it takes to resurrect him. And in the meanwhile, you can protect his body while it's being resurrected. So again, you press X once, you press once on the character, and it starts resurrecting him. And that was my favorite character, Sage. Let's get into Sova. Sova is the champion that has been compared to Hanzo a lot. Let's see what he can do. The first one, his C, or my mouse button, is a drone that he can send out. He can fly around with it, and he can attack a person with a dart, and enemies can shoot this drone, and when it's gonna be destroyed, obviously you're gonna lose vision. And if I'm in the drone and I hit somebody with the dart is gonna stick in the enemy, and it's gonna pulse and reveal a little bit delayed the position of that enemy. But the enemy can pull the dart out with pressing F, and then it's gonna be gone. Also, if he shoots your drone before you can shoot the dart, obviously you're not gonna have a lot of use beside of just knowing where he is in that moment he shoots it. Then we have his Q. His Q, the longer you charge an arrow, the further it flies. So like this, it would be very far. If I would want to have it a little bit closer, I could do that too. And another thing you can do, I could charge it fully, and then you can see underneath there are 2 little boxes. And if I right click, I can give it either 1 bounce or 2 bounce. So I could decide for it to bounce once. Or I could decide for it to bounce 2 times. Right? So this is for all of you guys that freaking love geometry. So you guys gonna have fun with Sova. I don't really know. Not really a champion that seems to be really appealing to me. I mean, I get why it's appealing, but it's just not a champion that I would probably play. Then his E is the same again with the bounces. You can bounce it once or twice. You shoot it, and it's a projectile that gets stuck in a wall or wherever you want it to be. And it's gonna reveal with those waves enemies. It does not work when it's line of sight. So let's say I would shoot it here, right? And I would hide behind this wall. The wave would not directly hit me, so they would not know I'm here. If I would be standing here straight next to it, yes. When I'm line of sight, no, I'm not. And then the ultimate is basically something like a Lux ultimate, or like what is it called? A Lux ultimate or an Astral ultimate, where you basically have a laser that you can shoot through walls. And it will damage the people. For example, if you're behind a wall and you know that somebody's defusing, you could shoot it on them. Or for example, you could combine it with the E, obviously. So let's say, why is this not? Why didn't it bounce? Okay, so you can, for example, combine it with your E, right? You could send out your shockwaves. You gotta know where everybody is. You gotta see, oh, this guy is sitting here. So then you're gonna shoot So again, a lot of funny things you can do with this character. Not my personal favorite, but I do understand that a lot of people love it, and it's often the first pick, at least in those bootcamp days. So yeah, Vipre, also one of my favorite characters. Let's look at her. Her C, or her mouse button for me, she can have 2 charges of this. It's basically something like a Molotov, if you will. It is a poisonous area where if she steps in it, or an enemy steps in it, an ally, whoever, you're gonna take damage. So you're gonna use this to create space for you on the map, or like force enemies out of their corners. So most of her abilities are gonna
Poison orb emitting.
gonna use
Poison's off.
some of her fuel. So again, you can put it down. You can activate it, and it's gonna be a poisonous cloud. You're not gonna take any damage in it, as Vipre obviously. You can deactivate it and reactivate it again once the little bar is charged on the bottom again. This one you can pick up again, and once the bar is full, you can reuse it. The next thing is her E. Her E is a poisonous wall. You can also bend it the same as the firewall. It works the same with the flashes. You can throw the flashes through. It also uses your fuel. And then you have your ultimate, which is gonna basically flood the whole area, or not the whole area, but a big area with your poison. This one stays active as long as Vipre is in it, and it does not use any of your fuel. You can also combine it with your other abilities. You can go out and you can see the little bar running down, and it would start disappearing once you're out of it. Another thing that is worth mentioning, inside of this cloud, the enemy's gonna tick down and get damage, but they cannot go under 1 damage. So they will survive in the poisonous cloud with 1 HP. So they cannot die from the cloud, basically. But you, obviously, you do not get damage. And for the enemies, how it works, you put your cloud down, they tick down to, let's say, 1 HP. And if they would exit it, they would get their life back as well. So the life that they lost inside of the clouds, they get it back once they exit the cloud. This does not apply to Vipre herself, though. Let's go to the next one, Breach. I honestly have not played Breach yet, so I'm not an expert on him. We're just gonna go through it real quick. His Aftershock is a fusion charge fire to charge the set slow-acting burst through the wall. The burst does heavy damage to anyone caught in its area. Flashpoint, equip a blinding charge. Fire the charge to set fast-acting burst. Through the wall, the charge detonates to blind all players looking at it. Fault line, equip a seismic blast. Hold fire to increase the distance. Release to set off an earthquake, dazing other players in the zone and in a line up to the zone. And then the ultimate, equip a seismic charge. Fire to send cascading quake through all terrain in a large cone. The quake dazes and knocks up anybody caught in it. So let's go over this again. So his C is basically a blast that does a lot of damage through walls. So if you know, for example, okay, there's an enemy waiting for me, he's gonna have the advantage because he's holding the angle. You can blast through the wall and do a lot of damage to him. Basically, the same with the flash. You can flash him and then peek him, for example. His E is gonna knock him up and daze him. And then you have the ultimate that we already said is basically do the same again. It's gonna knock them up and stun them for a little bit. Then we have our last champion already, which we have our last champion, which is Cypher. Cypher is a really, really fun champion. Haven't really played him yet. So the first one is a little trap wire that he has. This is the enemies cannot see this. If an enemy steps into it, they get trapped in it for a second or 2 seconds. I'm not sure. They can also shoot it if they know where it is, or if they're trapped in it to get released faster. It doesn't do any damage. But it makes a sound, so you're gonna know, oh, somebody stepped into it. You know, they're stunned in there for 2 seconds. So for example, again, it's a great tool if you're trying to hold a site alone, for example. Then we have his Q, which it's basically a cage. It's more or less also like a smoke. You can activate this one once. You can place it obviously beforehand. So you can, for example, place this one beforehand in the preparation times, and you can play, and you can, for example, then activate it in after plant positions or something like that. His E is a surveillance camera, so we can put this one, for example, up here. You can, for example, let a whole bomb site open, or one of the two sites, one of the two entry sites that you need to entries to one site. You could, for example, place a camera there. While the camera is not being used, it's invisible to the enemies. Once I decide to trigger it, so you can be wherever, and I just press it, I can look at the people. You can mark the people when you're in the camera. So yeah, enemies cannot see it while you don't activate it. Once you're inside of the camera, the people are going to be able to see it. They can shoot it, and it is gone. This is his passive that he's going to have every round. But something that should be noted is that if an enemy, for example, saw it, it went invisible again, and they would shoot the area, it would get destroyed. And then we have his ultimate. For his ultimate, you're basically gonna need an enemy dead body, where you can just go there, you click on the ulti on the corpse, and for 1 second or for a certain amount of time, it's gonna show where the enemies are on the map on this in this specific moment. So basically, he is interrogating the dead corpse and reading their memories, or however you want to say it. And he's gonna know exactly where on the map the people are, but it's only in the moment he clicks it. So you're gonna know, okay, there are 2 people on A and 1 is lurking on B, or you know, whatever. You will not see them moving or something. It's really just for the 1 second where they are. And this, ladies and gentlemen, concludes the characters and weapons in the game. I'm sorry if some of the things are not 100% correct. I hope I was able to explain everything in a good way in my own words without sounding way too overcomplicated. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you like all the videos. I hope you like the information. I hope to see you also on my stream. If you don't know, I stream 6 times a week, every day but Monday. My Twitch is twitch.tv/miss_rage. You can find the links all down below. Feel free to follow me on Twitter. I also post a lot on my Instagram stories. So make sure to come by in the chat on my stream, say hi, leave me a nice comment, tell me what you want to see more in the future, and I hope I'm gonna see you soon on the battlefield in Valorant.